Brendan Arthur is back, ready to stake a claim for a shot at world glory when he takes on Argentina's Walter Gabriel Shechiera. Part of a huge night of action on Saturday, September the 17th. It's live and free on Channel 5.
This is Joe Pugh for IFL TV, proudly sponsored by Everlast. Delighted to be joined here at the Origin Raynham Boxing Club by the man himself, Mr. Mark Tibbs. How are you, Mark?
Lovely, thanks, Joe. Yourself?
Very well, thank you. Thank you, as always, for having me down your gym.
Thanks for coming down and touching base with the boys. Appreciate that.
Always a pleasure. Just seeing Tommy, final preparations before his second pro fight next week on the undercard of Joe Joyce versus Joseph Parker. How's he been doing in the gym?
He's been a pleasure to work with. You know, I'm going to say that, but he is. We have to nurture that power he's got. You know, depending who he's sparring with, but he's had some decent sparring with Chev Clark, Chris Latuke, who's been around for a couple of weeks now, who's he's a very accomplished amateur world games fighter and been in the GB system, etc. And 25 years old, real man. Very talented as well, super skilled and can punch, and he likes to hold his feet. So it's been really good to have him on board with the likes of Johnny Edges, who's a fantastic boxer. They're all around the same weight, see, and so it's been a good camp for Tommy Fletcher. He's had some good sparring and he's coming on really nice. Still, it's hard to see he's only 20 years old. You know what I mean? So. Yeah, no, he's good. He just needs a little bit more experience as it goes, and that'll come. That'll come with time. Yeah. Emphatic
first round knockout and the first time out for his debut. You can't have really asked for anything more, could you, Mark?
No, it was a real perfect debut for him. S-Jam, who managed Tom, done a great. Done their job really well, along with BT Sport and Queensbury Promotions. They've done a fantastic debut for him. I never expected him to have that slot like he did, but he was well deserved. And I did tell everyone involved how good this kid's going to be and I believed in him. And they gave us or Tom more than I expected. But yeah, it was a perfect debut.
Haven't spoke to you since Johnny Fisher got back to knockout ways in Sheffield. How impressed were you to see him back in the ring after kind of the cut, the hand injury, and kind of it may have hesitated his confidence going the distance, and people did give him stick, I'm not going to lie, but that's kind of natural when there's a fighter of that profile so young. So what did you make of his fight in Sheffield?
His last fight.
Yeah, Sheffield fight.
Perfect. He I'm not sure if his confidence was dented over that fight. That it was at the Ali Pali. That was a great fight for him. A great learning fight for where he was. He went up against a very experienced guy in 2022 Bouter, and he weren't no mug. We had to do our own work with that. With that guy, that opponent's right hand, he always gets his good right hand off, and he's good with it. And Johnny had to work on that in the last 3 weeks at camp, and he never once got that right hand off. And so I was over the moon with that. I was also through adversity, if you believe in what's going on around you, and you've got the right people around you, it will build him, and it has built him. And he's had the opportunity. He's been out for about 5 weeks with Joe Joyce, helping Joe prepare against Joe Parker for the 24th September in Manchester. So he's had some great opportunities, John, and that's only going to make him better. You know what I mean? As long as you don't overdo it with him and it's all managed properly, he'll grow from it. And that fight at the Ali Pali, listen, that was good for him. And his last fight, it was like Tommy's perfect debut. That was a perfect performance. We simplified things and slowed things down a bit, and he made it simple. Got the measure and then put him away. Yeah.
Kind of with Johnny Fisher, he's been out in Vegas working with Joyce, as you said. Ishmael Salas, a world-class trainer, and I think he's even had a few sessions with Deontay Wilder. That is world-class experience. Last year he was with Tyson Fury, sparring up in Morecambe. Kind of all these attributes added to what you're teaching him day in, day out in the gym is going to really make him into something special, because we know he can sell the tickets, we know he's got the profile with his family, and hopefully now keep progressing and the boxing will do the talking as well.
Absolutely, absolutely. He's a very diligent worker. I remember being in, I think I was in America once, or training camp in Spain, and I knew he needed some sparring, some quality sparring, and I think I got in touch with Peter Fury, and Peter welcomed Johnny with open arms and brought him down with Fury, and so that's how we started getting John into giving him some flavour to his game, some seasoning, so to speak, and yeah, that's what you do with young prospects like Fisher, Fletcher, and Edges. You know, they have to be seasoned here and there and put in the oven from time to time. Yeah.
Eddie Hearn's just won the purse bid for Ebony Bridges' next fight, Aussie affair, mandatory challenger. I think number 3 ranked on Box Rec. Going to be a tough fight, but looking forward to getting Ebony back out.
For sure, yeah. I'm so looking forward to her. She can't wait. She's raring to go. She is. No, she's looking forward to this fight with this Australian girl, and she's actually gone off to Vegas for the weekend to watch Canelo fight, and she's been training, and you know, really, really well. I expected her to be out on the 24th of September, to tell the truth. You know, that's what I thought, and so we got her ready for that date. But obviously, purse bids went on yesterday or the day before.
Yeah, a couple of days.
Yeah. So that's rearranged a little thing. But so we took our foot off the gas a little bit, reassessed things. She's gone out to Vegas for a couple of days. She'll be back Monday or Tuesday, and then we'll pick it up from there. See if we've got any more news on a date for that fight. Yeah.
Ebony's profile was massive in the female boxing, and another massive fight that was meant to be happening last week was Savannah Marshall versus Clarissa Shields on that all-female massive card, and obviously what happened with everything with the Queen, unfortunately the show got cancelled, and it's kind of split opinions really. I just wanted to get your thoughts on it. Do you think the whole show should have been cancelled?
Well, do you know what? At first I thought, I feel for them, because, you know, I've had fighters around me, I've been a fighter myself, and I know what hard work goes into it. And obviously money's gone into that show by the promoter and television people and all that. And so it was very, very, very disappointing. And, you know, I had no one on the show, so I could only feel for them fighters for sure. And you know, you can't help keep away from the news and what's going on. And I'm pretty proud of you know, I'm pretty proud of our king and queen as it happened. So I'm also understand, you know, we've got to take a step back and respect our rulers, so to speak, because I'm glad I'm under this rule and not anyone else, if you know what I'm saying. Yeah. So yeah. Listen, look, them fighters on that card will come again. I think that fight's it'll make it a bigger, better fight. That Clarissa Shields and Savannah Marshall. I think that'll be a bigger fight next time. I was so looking forward to that myself. I planned my evening around that fight, and I was gutted at first, but it is what it is, and it will happen again, I'm sure, shortly, on the 15th of October, I believe.
Led to believe it is the 15th of October. Luckily, the O2 had that date. Like, we was all in Canary Wharf for the press conference that day, and kind of word got out around Sky that the fight might get called off if the Queen did pass, and then at 6 o'clock we was all round the telly, and I don't think anyone's kind of been in that situation before, because nothing's ever happened. So kind of the boxing board only really had 24 hours to act. So there's been a lot of criticism, but I'm sure you'll understand, and every other coach, manager, everyone in boxing, that no one really knew what was going on.
Yeah. As I said before, it's a sickener, especially if you're involved in that promotion or that production. It is a sickener, but decision's been made. No one can change it, and you've got to move forward. So you lick your wounds, you take your foot off the gas, and start again. You ain't going to start again, but you just take a few days off, get the thumbs up from the promoter and the television companies, and then we pick it up again. And as I say, I really believe that fight will be bigger the next time round.
How hard is it then peak for another date, like 5 weeks on? Because as a trainer, you're preparing your fighters to peak for that 1 hour on that one day. If there was 12 rounds, how hard is it to adjust for another 5 weeks?
See, it's not hard to adjust or to go again. It's just the disappointment of getting there. It's an anti-climax to something like that. You know what I mean? And that is the disappointment. It's a sickener. It's like a kick. It's like a kick in the. You know what I mean? So that is where the sickener is. But it's not hard to take your foot off the gas, to reevaluate and go again. And I'm sure, as I say before, there's nothing no one can do about it. Decisions have been made, and you just got to, pick yourself up, brush yourself down, and get on with it.
You mentioned Ebony's flying out to Vegas for the big fight, Triple G versus Canelo, the Trilogy, all 4 belts on the line this time, super middleweight. What do you make of the fight Saturday?
Yeah, looking forward to that, as all boxing fans are. I thought GGG should have won one of those fights. I think it was the first one, anyway. But I'm glad we're seeing the Trilogy. I haven't had too much a look at both of them fighters, only Canelo because he's been active. I know GGG's been active, but not in fights where I want to watch them.
And you've studied Canelo, obviously.
Yes, and I feel that obviously I fancy Canelo in this one just because of he's aging a little bit, GGG. But be a good fight, and he's coming off a loss, Canelo, so that makes it interesting. You know what I mean?
Look, I know the relationship you have with your dad being one of the most esteemed British boxing trainers as you are now. You've been a fighter, he's been a fighter. That's why I want to get your opinions on Chris Eubank Senior, Chris Eubank Junior. Senior, in the past 48 hours, has come out and said, look, I don't want Junior to fight, I want to pull him out. He's already had to lose one son, and the weight, the rehydration is beginning to become dangerous. So what would you do if your dad was advising you to pull out?
Well, he knows he knows he's been there before, the father, and he knows, and I think Eubank Junior should know about weight categories and why they're in place, because fights are won and lost on the scales, and it can be really detrimental if you're really weight drained. But unless you're around either fighter, and they're fighting at them weight categories, and there's 2 weight difference in between them in a normal situation. So I can understand, and I wasn't surprised Senior pipes up or butted in. You can't call it pipes up. It's his son. It's his son. But so therefore, I wasn't surprised that he brought that up, and I wouldn't be surprised if it was mind games. But it is interesting. I understand the fight's still on.
Yeah, it is at the minute. Yeah,
it is at the minute. I understand the fight's still on. I wouldn't be surprised if he takes a penalty if he can't make weight, and he's happy to pay the price for making it a heavier fight. But at the end of the day, a deal's a deal, and a contract is a contract, I guess.
So Ben Eubank is an absolutely massive fight, and so if one of your fighters were in a fight of this magnitude, and you was watching your fighter in the gym, and you was beginning to think that it was be unsafe for your fighter to make that weight, would you pull him out?
Of course, if they can't get on the scales and they can't stand up, and they're falling all over the place, you pick up earlier on in camp, at least 3 weeks out. You know what I mean? You pick them things up, but you know, it's difficult and it's not right for me to say because they've got very experienced teams and men around both fighters. But I think everyone's getting a gist of what everyone's saying, but unless you're in and around these fighters, you can't make judgments. You know what I mean? Can't make judgments. So, yeah, only Tony Sims and Junior's dad will know what's best for their fighters in hand, for sure.
Last one from me. Hopefully, we're going to be getting a very big fight for British boxing on the 3rd of December. Terms have been agreed. Anthony Joshua versus Tyson Fury. Kind of when no one expected it, it come from nowhere, really, didn't it?
It did. I was surprised. And what an opportunity for Anthony Joshua, eh? What an opportunity. And difficult task for him, though. Difficult task for him where he is psychologically. I believe, looking on the outside, I don't, you know, I'm not judging. I'm just looking what I've seen in his last 3 or 4 performances. Difficult fight, but he's got nothing to lose. AJ's got nothing to lose. But yeah, looking forward to that. I'm not sure if it's nailed down yet. Is it?
Well, terms are agreed and Frank said he's going to get the contract over to 258 management. But if you were training Joshua, would you want him to take maybe 1 or 2 tune-up fights after coming off the back of 2 losses? Or is it a case of you've got to throw the dice and go in with the #1 heavyweight in the world?
Well, it's a situation, like I say, unless you know where he is psychologically, I can't make a judgment. But as you just said it there, he can't tick over and have a couple of fights because that opportunity would get lost. I believe that would get lost because there's people queuing up for that opportunity and probably more in line for it, I guess, you know what I mean? So yeah, it's a very difficult one to say if it ain't your business. It ain't my business.
In the past half an hour, literally, Alexander Usyk's just said that if Tyson Fury does fight Anthony Joshua, he wants to take on Deontay Wilder. In the meantime, that'd be kind of star-wise a massive fight and a really dangerous fight for Alexander Usyk. Just off the top of your head, how do you think that one goes?
Alexander will be victorious. I don't think it's a difficult fight for Alexander, to tell the truth. He's only got a puncher's chance. I mean, they're both small heavyweights. Right, am I right in saying that?
Deontay Wilder, he's tall and wiry, but he's...
Tall and wiry, but he's not that heavy, is he not?
No, not heavy.
No, that's right. I guess they're around the same weight, you know, ish. Yeah. Deontay may even be lighter, I don't know. But they're both very small heavyweights, and he's got a puncher's chance, but, you know, against a slickster like Alexander Usyk, it's... difficult task. I think it's a good fight. That's a good fight for TV and for fans, for sure. Yeah.
Excellent. Mark, thank you very much for letting me come down to the gym today. As always, is there any sponsors you'd like to thank, anyone you'd like to mention before we close off?
Well, I would like to thank my long-term sponsor in West One Limited in supporting you know, facilities that I've used along the way, and yeah, and that's it really.
Excellent. Mark Tibbs, thank you very much for being to IFL, and hopefully speak to you again soon, mate.
Top man. Cheers, Joe.
Yeah, I put my dad in the street against a heavyweight.
I've gone back to the dad. I've punched him a few more times.
5 blokes outside my front door. Can you come and help me?
One hell of a fucking story, so stay tuned.